You clicked on this video because your girlfriend left you, because you don't have 10 rank maxes. Well, good thing you clicked on this video because I will show you the top 10 rank maxes in Brawl Stars. I will also cover some tips and tricks, so please enjoy. Dynamike is a super rare brawler with low HP but high damage output. He is the first and only thrower on this list. He attacks by lobbing sticks of dynamite over obstacles that blow up and deal high damage in a medium radius. For his super, he lobs a large barrel of dynamite that deals very high damage and knocks surviving enemies back in a large radius while also destroying obstacles. This is the build that I'd recommend you to play with Dynamike. Dynamike needs a lot of game sense and is a brawler that is used in maps with a lot of walls. Let's move over to the next brawler. Colt is a rare brawler with low HP but high damage output. He is a long-range brawler that is good in maps with not a lot of walls. His attack is a long-ranged volley of 6 bullets. His super is a longer-ranged volley of 12 piercing bullets that can destroy obstacles. For Colt, you need a lot of game sense and good aim. If you don't have both, then I'm sorry, but he won't be good. If you do have good aim and a lot of game sense, then he is OP. To gain game sense, try to play the game a lot and to have good aim. Play a lot of friendly battles against friends and watch tutorial videos on how to play him. This is the build I'd recommend you to play Colt well. Now, let's move on as we're getting closer and closer to the top 1 brawler. Buzz is a mythic brawler that could be unlocked in a previous Brawl Pass or via credits. Buzz is a close-range brawler with a high damage output. Buzz can be used very well in maps with close range and a lot of walls. For Buzz, game sense isn't really needed for Buzz. But please know these few tips. The further you use your super on an enemy, the longer they are stunned. You can use your super for mobility to move across the map. You can stun your enemy and get your teammate to kill him while he's stunned. This is a good trick you can use in Duo Showdown and even Trio Showdown. The only thing you need for Buzz to play him well is a good teammate or else you're cooked. This is the build I'd recommend you to play Buzz with. Let's move on. I can see the confusion here, but let me explain. Hank is a one-shrimp, one-tank army on a mission to liberate sea life from kitchens and markets everywhere. Chefs, consider yourselves on notice. Hank is both a mid-range and long-range brawler. So that is a good thing about Hank. Another good thing about Hank is that when you charge up your super, you can hit enemies behind walls. Here's some tips and tricks you can use to improve with Hank while charging up your attack. Face the bubble downwards while chasing the enemy. Once it's full, face the enemy and attack. He will be surprised and will run away. This is the build I'd recommend you to play with Hank, and let's move on. Mr. P is our second mythic brawler on this list. He is in over his head trying to run a hotel. He's always yelling at his employees to work faster, as if they could understand his gibberish. Mr. P is a mid-range brawler. That is good in maps with walls and a little bit of space left. Here are some tips and tricks. Shoot or attack off the wall so it can bounce and land on the enemy. Do not rush mid with Mr. P as he will die fast due to his low HP count. It's best to always play defensive with him and not always rush. His super deploys a home base that periodically spawns a robo-porter that follows and attacks enemies. This is the build that I'd recommend you to play with Mr. P, and let's move on to the top 5 brawlers in this list. Gray is the next mythic brawler on this list. Gray styles himself as a character in an old silent film. He takes the act seriously but sometimes forgets to keep his mouth shut when doing finger bullets. Gray is a mid-range brawler that is good in maps with walls and open space. Here's some tips and tricks you can use to improve with Gray. When an enemy is on low HP, use your super to teleport to the enemy and you have a free kill. If their teammates were there, teleport back with the super you've placed. You can use your super to escape a situation, or use your super for mobility. This is the build I'd recommend you to play with Gray. Let's move on. Now, Mandy is the next epic brawler on this list. Mandy shoots a long ray of sugar passing through enemies and the environment, dealing massive damage. She is a mid-range and both long-range brawler. The reason she is both at the same time is because when you stand still with her for a few seconds, her range becomes longer and you can hit enemies better and become better in overall. But once you move even a tiny bit with her, you will have the mid-range attack as usual. Her super launches a big candy projectile which does lots of damage. If you pair that with her hypercharge, she is OP, so don't forget that. Mandy is good in maps and open spaces. This is the build I'd recommend for you. Stu is the last epic brawler on this list. A little punch-drunk from too many bumps, bruises, and gasoline fumes over his long stunt-performing career, Stu is a bit wobbly on his wheel these days. Stu is a mid-range brawler that is good in maps where there are lots of walls. I will explain why. With Stu's gadget, you can easily surprise your opponents. Listen closely. If the enemy you're facing is glued to a wall, you can use your gadget called Breakthrough. You can use it while you have your super and break the wall and kill him with him being super surprised. Now some tips and tricks. You can charge Stu's super easily because you only need to hit your enemies once and you have your super. Surprise your enemies with the gadget I just mentioned. This is the build I'd recommend for Stu, and let's move on. Melody is the second last mythic brawler on this list. When it comes to karaoke, Melody shows no mercy. Armed with her kawaii looks and devilish set of pipes, she never fails to steal the limelight. Melody is a mid-range brawler that is good in game modes such as Brawl. I will explain why. When your super is charged, you can use your super to dash towards the ball, and once you have the ball, you kick it somewhere close to your enemy's goal. Once it's there, you use your super to dash towards there too, and you have an open goal to score. You can repeat this method to win almost every game. Her attack is a long-range monster note that deals very low damage. When she hits a target, notes appear and revolve around her, each dealing moderately high damage. Her super has 3 dashes that can be individually used. This is the build I'd recommend you to use, and let's move on to the best brawler in the game. Mortis is the last and best mythic brawler on this list. Mortis had grand designs built around being a mortician and a vampire, but the fact that nobody is dying at Star Park has put a huge damper on his plans. Mortis is a long, mid-range brawler that is often used in game modes such as Brawl. Mortis can use his attack to dash his mobility, but also in Brawl here. Let me explain. The tactic I explained for Melody can also be used with Mortis, but for his attack, it can be paired with his hypercharge and then you're more OP. Now the tips and tricks. As a Mortis, do not rush mid, play him in Brawl and play calm. This is the build I'd recommend you to play with Mortis, and I'll end this video now. Thanks for watching this video. I tried my best in this video, and I hope you like it. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Please join my Discord server, as I have an ongoing giveaway there. Bye! I'll see you next time.